Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Double Trouble Pod. My name is Phil Double. Regular viewers of these videos will notice that I am normally joined by Paul Mitchell, Director of Siavuma Sports Group, a football agency based in South Africa, but unfortunately he is currently away on business, so can't be here in person. He has, however, sent me some voice notes on his thoughts about the end of the group stages of AFCON and his predictions for the first round of the knockout phase. So we will put those in as and when we need them, and you'll still be able to hear his thoughts on what's been going on.
Good morning, Phil from Asia. Hope all is well. Just giving you my thoughts and feelings and updates on the AFCON 2024.
This is the third episode, so if you haven't checked out episode 1 and episode 2, please head over to the YouTube channel, the Double Trouble Pod, and you can find them there. Episode 1 was an interview with Paul on what he does as a football agent, how he became a football agent, and all things football agency. So if you're interested in that, go and check that out. And episode 2 was our projections for who was going to qualify from the groups, the top 2 teams in each group for AFCON, and we revealed in that who we thought was going to win the overall tournament. So go and check that one out if you haven't already. So in this episode we are going to take a look at the end of the group stages, see who's qualified, see how we did with our projections, and then have a look at the first round of the knockout phase and give you our projections for who we think is going to go through. So the end of the group phases, Group A. We've got 3 qualifiers from Group A: Equatorial Guinea, Nigeria and Ivory Coast. Ivory Coast making it through as one of the best third place teams, but they did rely on other results in order for them to get through. The last round of matches for those were quite interesting. Equatorial Guinea beating Ivory Coast 4-0 in the last round, to the hosts' dismay. Actually, the head coach has lost his job, partly because of that. But anyway, in terms of the projections, Paul picked Equatorial Guinea and Nigeria as the top 2, so he gets 2 points on our scoring system for each of those. I picked Nigeria and the Ivory Coast. Nigeria I get 2 points for, Ivory Coast 1 point for, because they went through as a best third place team.
Group A with Equatorial going through, who played some fantastic football, very exciting, very entertaining, followed by Nigeria, who were strong in general, organised, and had some good moments and some good passages of play with quite an exciting sort of front three, who I expect to possibly make the final with Senegal. But it remains to be seen. But it was a very good group. Ivory Coast going out, I suppose, is everybody's surprise. But again, when we looked at the squad on paper, it didn't strike you as being super strong.
So moving on to Group B. Cape Verde and Egypt go through from that group. No third place team from that group because Ghana and Mozambique both finished on 2 points. That was actually a wild last round of games. If you were trying to watch both matches like I was, it was a lot of flicking backwards and forwards because it was action all over the place. At one point Egypt were out, at one point Ghana were in. Cape Verde and Egypt finished 2-2, and Mozambique and Ghana finished 2-2 in the end. So it all ended up as it was when it started, but there was the sort of 20-30 minutes at the end of both of those games where there was all sorts of things going on, both very entertaining matches from what I could watch from those matches. So Paul correctly projected Cape Verde and Egypt to qualify from that group, so he gets 2 points for each of those. I was Egypt and Ghana, so I only get points for Egypt there, Ghana being knocked out.
Group B, which is been won by Cape Verde. I think Cape Verde have played some really good football. In second place was Egypt, and I suppose the shock in the group was Ghana, but as we'd previously said, the likes of Ghana and Cameroon on paper didn't look strong, and I'm not really surprised to see them going out against a very exciting Cape Verde team and an always organised Egypt team without being very expansive. So no real surprises in that group.
On to Group C then. Senegal, Cameroon and Guinea have all qualified from this group. Guinea being a best third place team. Senegal with 9 points, 100% record. And Cameroon with 4 points in second place. Another entertaining game in this group was Cameroon 3, Gambia 2. Lots of swings. Very entertaining game. Lots of attacking football. Both teams wanting to go for it because there was... Gambia didn't really have anything to play for that much, but they still went for it. Paul's projections from this group were Senegal, he gets 2 points, and Gambia, who unfortunately didn't make it, so didn't get any points for that. I had Senegal and Cameroon, so 2 points each for those. On to Group D then. Angola, Burkina Faso and Mauritania all qualifying from this group. Mauritania, fantastic performance in their last game, and they go through as a third place team with 3 points. Angola and Burkina Faso first and second respectively. Paul had Burkina Faso, so 2 points for that, and Algeria, so no points for that as they finished bottom of the group surprisingly with 2 points. I had Angola, so 2 points for me, and also Algeria, so no points for that one. Moving on to Group E. Mali, South Africa and Namibia all qualifying, so Paul's a happy man because South Africa and Namibia both qualify. Namibia as a third place team with 4 points. Paul did in the end pick Mali and South Africa, so he gets 2 points for each of those. I also had the same teams, so 2 points for me as well. Both the final games for Group E and Group F were probably the worst of the tournament so far. Not much attacking play. Maybe they'd all run out of steam, I'm not sure, but Group E, Mali and South Africa, like I said, 2 points each for Paul and 2 points each for me. Group F, Morocco and Congo getting through. Morocco with 7 points. Paul and I both with Morocco, so 2 points each for us for that. Neither of us had Congo. And Zambia, Paul had no points for them, and I obviously had heart over head with Tanzania, actually picking up 2 points in the end, but didn't actually have a shot on target in the last game. Again, the last two games in that group were quite difficult to watch, and at the end of so many exciting games, that was a bit of an anticlimax.
No surprise to see the group winners Morocco going through, along with Congo finishing second. No real surprise to see Zambia and Tanzania not going through in that group, so that no real shocks there.
So, overall scores for the group stages, Paul has 18 points and I have 17 points, so neck and neck and all to play for. And our predictions for the first knockout phase, I may have taken a few gambles there just to try and get some points ahead of Paul. So I've included Paul's voice notes there for any of the group stages where he had comments to make, and I'll also do the same thing for the projections for the first knockout phase. So you'll hear my projection and then I'll play in Paul's projection so you can hear what we both are predicting. So on to the knockout games then. First game we've got is Angola versus Namibia. I've taken Angola. I had them to qualify from Group D, so I think I'm going to stick with those. Paul has a very keen interest in Namibia, so he's taken them, as he will tell you now.
Angola versus Namibia. Both surprise packages. Both played some good football. I think this will be a really, really entertaining game. Free-flowing, back to, end to end. I do see Namibia winning this game. I do see Namibia going through on this game. I think they, apart from their blip against South Africa, I think they've to keep 2 clean sheets against Tunisia and Mali shows defensively they've been good, albeit the 4-0 against South Africa was a bit of a cross, a bit of a black mark. But they have kept 2 clean sheets. They are organised, and they were very unlucky against Mali not to score. So I do see Namibia going through in this game.
The next game is Nigeria versus Cameroon. Both of us on Nigeria. Even though Paul's best buddies with Samuel Eto'o, he's decided to abandon Cameroon and take Nigeria. Again, I had Nigeria to qualify from the group, and they are my pick for the tournament, so I obviously have to pick them going forward. And we'll play you in Paul's thoughts on this match now.
Nigeria, Cameroon. I feel Nigeria will win this game, and they will win it comfortably. But it's knockout football now, so anything can happen. But I do think Nigeria will win and win comfortably.
Okay, next match we have is Cape Verde versus Mauritania. Mauritania, obviously a surprise package, getting through from their group as a third place team. I don't think it's any surprise that Paul and I have both taken Cape Verde here, but the way that Mauritania have been playing, then neither of us will be surprised if they actually make it through. And here we'll play Paul's notes from this game.
Cape Verde playing the surprise and brilliant Mauritania. It's so good to see Mauritanian football doing well at last. But I do see Cape Verde going through comfortably.
Okay, next game is Ivory Coast and Senegal. Senegal's obviously Paul's pick to win the tournament, so unsurprisingly he's gone for Senegal here. I have gone for the Ivory Coast, partly because I said right at the beginning that I thought the hometown boost would help them through, but also because I want to get some points over on Paul here, and I'm hoping that new coach, a bit more emphasis on Ivory Coast, feeling like they've got something to prove now, having not qualified as one of the top 2 in their group and just getting through on the final game as a third place team. Hopefully they will be able to find something and put it all together and get through Senegal. But here are Paul's notes on this game.
The hosts, Ivory Coast against Senegal. On paper this should be a classic game. Although Ivory Coast have not played well with the home crowd, you never know. However, in my opinion, I see Senegal winning this game comfortably and going through to the next round.
Okay, next we have a Battle of the Guineas with Equatorial Guinea facing Guinea. Paul and I have both selected Equatorial Guinea here. Doing well in the group. Equatorial Guinea topped the group with quite a difficult group. So we both fancy them to go on and beat Guinea here, and here are Paul's thoughts on this game.
I do see this being a tight game, exciting game. It's going to be very interesting, but I do see Equatorial Guinea going through from this game.
Next game we've got Egypt and Congo. Congo scraping through on the last game, and Egypt without Mo Salah now, will that be a difference? He's a bit injured, and we'll see how long he's out for, whether he can make it back for any of the games should they progress. But Paul and I have both taken Egypt on this game, and here are Paul's thoughts on this game.
We have Egypt playing against Congo, DR Congo. I think this will be a tight game, but I do see the organisation of Egypt seeing them go through to the next round.
Next game is Mali and Burkina Faso. We've both taken Burkina Faso on this game. Paul is quite keen on Burkina Faso as an outside chance for the tournament. So unsurprisingly he's picked them, and I just think even though Mali topped their group, wasn't that impressed with how they played, so I'm going for Burkina Faso with Paul on that game. And here are Paul's thoughts on that match.
Mali taking on Burkina Faso. 2 strong teams on paper. 2 teams who've played pretty well in the group stages. Mali being held to a draw against Namibia, and also beating South Africa in the first game, although South Africa should have been 2-3-0 up at half time. I do see this being a tight game, but I think Burkina Faso, being the dark horses of this tournament, will be there or thereabouts. I see Burkina Faso going through, always a strong team, always organised. They've showed the mettle in the group stages already, and I do see that Burkina Faso will go through.
Okay, and the final game for the first knockout phase is Morocco versus South Africa. Obviously, Paul is going for what he says is an upset with South Africa in this one, as he's quite interested in the South African team. I'll play you his notes in a minute about what he thinks about this game, but I'm going for a bit more of a safe bet with Morocco. But the way that South Africa played in their game against Namibia, I could see them trying and coming close, a bit like Paul does. But I'm going for Morocco partly to go different to try and get the extra points. But here are Paul's thoughts on the Morocco and South Africa game.
South Africa playing against Morocco. I think this will be a very tight affair. Everybody will expect Morocco to go through. Probably go through with ease. It will be a tight game. And I think we could see a surprise in this game. Putting things aside, I think this game could possibly go to extra time and penalties perhaps. I do see South Africa nicking this one and possibly going through on extra time or penalties. I don't think there'll be a lot of goals scored, but I do have a feeling South Africa can win this game, and that's what I'm going to put forward.
So, some interesting games coming up for the first knockout phase. It'll be very interesting to see who gets through from those games. Hopefully there'll be lots of entertaining football, plenty of goals, and the teams won't be sitting on the nervous side of trying to protect leads and not go out of the tournament. Hopefully a bit of carefree abandon when they play the next games. So, quick one, this one, a quick recap of the end of the group stages and the first knockout phase. I do hope you've enjoyed this video. If you do, and you're on YouTube, please feel free to give us a subscribe, give us a like, and share any content that you find anywhere. And we will see you next time. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.